Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Langley and today is July 25th. Today I'd like to talk to you about storage batteries. It's well known that the importance of batteries in general is undeniable, especially with the advent of electric vehicles in recent years. However, storage batteries in general are also expanding into areas that were unimaginable just even a decade ago. This expansion isn't limited to electric vehicles. It's becoming strategic for countries' energy supplies worldwide. In this session, I will explain the Japanese government's policies regarding storage batteries and explore the future possibilities in Japan's market in this field. In August of 2022, METI published the storage battery industry strategy outlining the industry's vision and basic policy guidelines. Batteries have various applications, but their roles can be broadly characterized into three main areas. First off, the Japanese government aims to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050 through initiatives such as electrifying various sectors. One prominent example is the electrification of automobiles, which is crucial for meeting this goal. As you may already know, advancements in battery technology will be indispensable if Japan were to successfully promote the electrification of its vehicles. Second, the utilization of battery storage will play a vital role in making renewable energy a mainstream source of power. As it stands, renewable energy sources, while essential, have inherent instabilities which need to be addressed. To stabilize this renewable energy, batteries, especially the large capacity ones, are becoming increasingly important. This second area in particular has garnered significant attention in recent years. Third, battery storage will serve as backup power sources for critical facilities such as 5G communication base stations and data centers. They are also used in various IT equipment, making them indispensable infrastructure supporting Japan's digitalization efforts. Battery storage is crucial for enhancing resilience, which is particularly important for Japan, a country vulnerable to earthquakes and frequent natural disasters, and almost totally dependent on foreign supplied fuel, coal, gas, and other non-renewable energy resources. When the strategy was released back in 2022, the focus was primarily on lithium-ion batteries. Lithium batteries remain central today for its high energy density and its ability to be used for electric vehicles. But the Japanese government has also made it clear that they are investing in research and development for new types of batteries, and this is really important. Going back to the second point I mentioned earlier, batteries are crucial not only for electrification, but also for stabilizing, evening out the power system to ensure a steady supply of green electricity in the first place. Among renewable energy options, solar panels in particular have seen the most significant growth in Japan since they are vastly cheaper compared to wind, hydro, or geothermal power. As a result, the use of solar panels in Japan has been increasing year by year within the renewable energy sector. Now let's take a look at this visual to understand how exactly renewable energy is currently being managed using solar panels. As you can see, it's clear that solar panels only generate electricity during daylight hours. That's obvious. Consequently, their output drops to zero at night, rises with the sun, and falls back to zero after sunset. And also, obviously, the value shown here can vary depending on the weather and the time of the year. As you may remember from our hydrogen presentation, 20% of Japan's energy currently comes from renewable sources, and the goal is to increase this 36 to 38% according to the Agency for Natural Resources and Energy's latest basic energy plan. Considering how well utilized solar panels are in Japan, it will no doubt play a key role in achieving this numerical target. However, the critical challenge lies in stabilizing the energy supply we get from solar power. This is because during the day, an excess of solar power can overwhelm the electricity grid, leading to grid congestion and an increased risk of blackouts. Therefore, finding ways to stabilize the integration of solar panels into the power system is essential. Batteries, especially large capacity ones, are pivotal in addressing this challenge by storing excess power generated during the day and releasing it when it is needed, ensuring a consistent and reliable power supply. This issue of excess electricity generated from solar panels and the restrictions of power generation has already occurred in recent years. Last year, Kyodo News, in fact, reported that major power companies implemented temporary power generation suspension requests a total of 194 times for renewable energy operators during the first half of the Japanese fiscal year, that is between April and September. That figure was 3.1 times higher than the same period of last year. This is a serious problem for individual solar power producers, which can be seen throughout other power plants in Japan. As the number of solar panels increases, the issue will only become more significant. Delayed disconnection could lead to an influx of excessive electricity, risking large-scale blackouts. Furthermore, if the frequency of these disconnections rises, it can lead to a potential loss amounting to several billions yen in total. This problem stems from the power generation pattern of solar panels and the grid's limited capacity to absorb this energy. Therefore, it's crucial to address these challenges by enhancing battery supply storage solutions and improving grid management to accommodate the increasing solar power generation without compromising grid stability. In response to this ongoing problem, one of the most promising solutions gaining attention in recent years is the implementation of battery storage. Instead of wasting excess electricity through discharging, this system will instead store it in batteries. This way, excess solar energy generated during the day can be used at night, effectively balancing supply and demand throughout the day. As you can see from this visual, power plants will generate electricity, and during times of surplus production, the excess power will then be stored in batteries. When needed, especially during high demand periods, this stored power can be discharged. This method carries significant benefits. Currently, nighttime power generation often relies on gas or coal-fired plants, which have higher carbon dioxide emissions. However, by storing solar power generated during the day and using it at night, an alternative source of electricity can be provided with a much lower carbon footprint. Furthermore, because the energy storage system connected to the power grid can store excess electricity when supply exceeds demand and release it when it is needed, profit can be generated based on the price difference between charging and discharging the batteries. This not only makes battery storage environmentally sustainable, but financially sustainable as well. Implementing battery storage not only enhances the stability and efficiency of the power grid, but also supports the broader goal of a sustainable and carbon-neutral energy system. By maximizing the use of renewable energy and mitigating its inherent instabilities, we can ensure a more reliable and environmentally friendly power supply for the future. So far, we've discussed how battery storage is garnering attention for its potential to lead the green transformation in Japan by stabilizing power generated from existing solar panels installed nationwide. However, some of you may wonder why Japan is emphasizing its interest in battery storage now, given that solar panels have already been utilized here for many years, and other alternative sources of green energy are also demonstrating their own merits. But as I explained earlier, the past year has seen a surge in attention towards large-scale battery storage, particularly due to the rapid expansion of renewable energy, especially solar panels. Reflecting on the history of solar power, there was a time when the feed-in tariff system was introduced to promote solar energy. Back then, the contribution of solar panels to the overall energy mix was minimal, so excess solar power just wasn't a concern. However, today, the situation has changed dramatically, with solar power generation often exceeding demand. This raises the question of how to manage this surplus electricity effectively. In addition, as we look ahead into the future, we can expect the demand for electricity to grow significantly in a couple of years. Crucial industries such as AI, data centers, and semiconductor factories, which already have plans to expand in Japan, as you may have heard, are also massive consumers of electricity and are now expanding in Japan. Therefore, the challenge for Japan is to figure out how to provide these industries with 24-hour green electricity in order to meet its goals for carbon neutrality. During the day, solar panels can supply green energy. However, the same cannot be said for nighttime. This is where large-scale batteries come into play, enabling the continuous provision of green energy. Ensuring a steady and sufficient supply of green electricity around the clock is crucial if this country were to have a sustainable operation of AI, data centers, and semiconductor factories. In the broader context, this aligns with what the Japanese government refers to as the green transformation, or GX. The key to GX is green power, providing affordable and stable green electricity. The pivotal element in achieving this is large-scale battery storage. In summary, the current spotlight on battery storage stems from two main factors: the rapid growth of solar power generation and the rising demand for substantial green electricity by emerging industries in Japan. These developments underscore the necessity of large-scale batteries to stabilize and maximize the benefits of renewable energy, ensuring a sustainable and resilient energy future for Japan. To further explore why Japan is so interested in battery storage, it is also helpful to examine the growth potential for the global battery market, the export market. The market for storage batteries is set to become increasingly important in the coming years, a trend that holds true worldwide. As we can see from this chart, the market is expected to grow rapidly, with projections indicating a 2.5-fold increase in automobile batteries from 2019 to 2030 and a 16-fold increase from 2030 to 2050. Similarly, stationary batteries are expected to see a 10-fold increase from 2030 to 2050. In the near term, the market for automobile battery storage is rapidly expanding due to the growth of the EV market. Currently, the stationary storage market is about 1/10 the size of the automobile market, so the prospect for growth in the stationary battery storage market towards 2050 is obviously enormous. However, formulating an industrial policy to figure out what works best for batteries is no simple task for the Japanese government. Japanese companies initially secured an early market with technological advances as the market expanded, but Chinese and Korean manufacturers also increased their share. Meanwhile, Japanese manufacturers saw a decrease in their market share. So as you can see from this chart, from 2015 to 2020, a mere 5-year span, Japan's market share in the automobile lithium-ion battery market plummeted from over 50% to just 21%. In the stationary lithium-ion battery sector, Japan's market share dropped from 27% to a mere 5.4%. This rapid percentage decline is stark, especially considering Japan's near total monopoly in the year 2000, and also considering that Japan production actually increased during this period. Japan's experience in falling from a near monopolistic competitive edge to a marginal presence in over a decade or two is not unique to the battery industry. A similar trajectory occurred in the semiconductor industry, where Japan once led the world. Today, Japan's semiconductor industry is but a shadow of its former self. Consequently, the Japanese government is now focusing on attracting foreign investment to secure domestic semiconductor supply. Given this context, the battery industry might see similar strategic shifts. Japan's initial dominance in various technologies, such as semiconductors and DVD players, eventually diminished over time. To avoid repeating this pattern, Japan faces the challenge of reversing the ongoing decline in her battery industry. The government's strategy must address how to reclaim and enhance Japan's competitive edge in battery technology. This involves not only fostering innovation and investment domestically, but also potentially engaging in international collaborations to not only stay ahead of the global market, but to convincingly lead it. The key challenge for Japan is to turn the tide and secure a leading position in the evolving battery industry, ensuring long-term sustainability and competitiveness. Now that we've discussed the benefits of battery storage and Japan's keen interest in this promising technology, let's delve into the detailed policies of the Japanese government. We'll explore how they plan to turn the tide and take full advantage of this growing industry. On the storage battery industry strategy, METI's goals were well laid out with 3 targets to meet. The first target is for Japan to significantly increase domestic manufacturing capacity for automobile storage batteries up to 100 gigawatt hours by 2030, emphasizing the need to secure capacity for battery exports and stationary applications. By no later than 2030, the goal is to establish a domestic manufacturing base capable of producing 150 gigawatt hours per year of batteries and material. This domestic manufacturing target suggests that foreign companies investing in Japan would likely be welcome. The second target is to secure a global presence in the battery market, which requires various rare metals. Therefore, ensuring procurement power for these critical resources and influencing the formation of international standards and regulations throughout standardization efforts are also highlighted. The third target is to capture the next generation battery market, which would include the potential game-changing impact of cutting-edge technology such as solid-state batteries. Full-scale, practical implementation of solid-state batteries is targeted for around 2030, encouraging joint research and development initiatives with the Japanese companies as viable opportunities. Furthermore, the sector-specific investment strategy presented at the 10th GX implementation meeting held on December 15th of 2023 further outlines substantial investments plans for both public and private sectors, with a total investment of 7 trillion yen for battery manufacturing over the next 10 years, and an additional 3 trillion yen for battery storage deployment. This comprehensive approach underscores Japan's commitment to leadership in battery technology development and deployment in the coming years. Since the release of METI's battery industry strategy, the government has already made regulatory changes aimed at making storage batteries more user-friendly and enhancing predictability in their usage. For instance, in just a matter of a few months, METI had already followed up with the battery industry strategy with an amendment to the Electricity Business Act, which governs power plants and related facilities. Before this change, large-scale energy storage facilities existed primarily as auxiliary units attached to power plants and substations. When connected to the power grid independently, these storage facilities were in a gray area capable of both supplying and receiving power. However, the 2022 amendment classified power generation from storage batteries as equivalent to conventional power generation, granting them the right to connect to the power grid. Of course, this comes with safety regulations to ensure the secure operation of both power generation and grid connection. This shift also enlarges the scope of policies and corporate positioning regarding energy storage, making it a more significant aspect of the overall strategy. Since then, METI has been and will continue to amend other various acts and regulations to eliminate unnecessary hurdles and promote a thriving battery storage industry in Japan. So now let's analyze how the Japanese government plans to allocate a budget for the development of battery storage utilization in Japan. As shown in this slide, a major policy direction is outlined in the government's robust fiscal year budget. Through initiatives aimed at accelerating the adoption of renewable energy, such as the introduction of grid-scale storage batteries and rationalization of distribution networks, there is a budget allocation of 4 billion yen. This funding is intended to subsidize business implementation large-scale battery installations. Additionally, there is 4.6 billion yen allocated for the development and the demonstration of next-generation technologies utilizing decentralized energy resources like storage batteries. This initiative focuses on using batteries and other decentralized energy resources, not only for large grids, but also in distributed forms across various applications. Further, there is a budget of approximately 10.5 billion yen earmarked for projects promoting self-consumption of solar power, where business and households generate and utilize their own solar power. This aligns with the concept of prosumerism, combining consumer and producer roles, thereby enhancing the significance of decentralized energy resources. To conclude this presentation, let's go over the key points highlighting the importance of storage batteries in Japan. First, storage batteries are essential for achieving carbon neutrality and facilitating the green transformation. You could say facilitating the transformation is a prerequisite to reach carbon neutrality goals in 2030 and for 2050. Second, there is an industrial demand for green energy to ensure Japan's competitiveness in cutting-edge technology. As you may have heard on the news, many within and outside Japan are heavily investing in semiconductor factories and data centers, especially those dedicated to AI. Without an adequate source of green energy, the growth potential for these industries would be severely limited. Third, storage batteries play a crucial role in enhancing energy security by stabilizing the overall energy system. As you know, Japan is a relatively small island country that lacks sufficient natural resources to meet its own energy needs, relying heavily on imports. However, over-reliance on foreign imports poses risks exacerbated by Japan's vulnerability to natural disasters. Therefore, investing in technology to establish a reliable and environmentally sustainable energy source within its own capabilities is a prudent move for Japan. So this concludes our discussion on Japan's policies on battery storage. The three pillars underscore the significant role of storage batteries in Japan's policies and investments toward achieving sustainable energy and maintaining technological competitiveness. If you're looking for on-the-ground assets to supplement or facilitate your interest in Japan, becoming thereby more firmly established in this difficult-to-master country, please connect with the team at Langley Esquire on LinkedIn or via our internet presence. Thank you for tuning in to this policy briefing, our fourth in a series. Finally, please join us every Sunday morning for a roundup of what is going on in Japanese politics, live streamed on YouTube and on LinkedIn every week. 3.5 years going strong every single Sunday and an audience in the thousands. I'm so grateful for your attention and for your interest in these deeply important policy movements. See you next time.